Kendrick Lamar didn't just perform at the Super Bowl. He redefined what the Super Bowl halftime show could be. For decades, the Super Bowl stage was reserved for spectacle, fireworks, pop anthems, and crowd-pleasing nostalgia. It was about volume, not meaning. About pleasing everyone, not saying something real. And then came Kendrick Lamar. When he walked onto the biggest stage in American television, he didn't bring gimmicks. He brought a message. This wasn't just another halftime show. It was a cultural moment, a carefully constructed statement about power, identity, control, and visibility in America. Millions tuned in expecting entertainment. Instead, they witnessed something far more uncomfortable and far more important. Every movement was intentional. Every lyric carried weight. Every visual choice sparked conversation. Some viewers were inspired. Others were confused. Many were angry. And that reaction was exactly the point. Kendrick Lamar has always used his art as a mirror, forcing audiences to confront realities they'd rather avoid. Poverty, racism, violence, fame, hypocrisy, the cost of success. The Super Bowl stage simply made that mirror impossible to ignore. This was not a performance designed to be forgotten by Monday morning. It was designed to linger, to divide opinions, dominate headlines, and rewrite the rules of mainstream music culture. In the days that followed, debates exploded across social media, news outlets, and cultural commentary shows. Was this appropriate for the Super Bowl? Was it political? Was it genius, or was it going too far? But one thing was undeniable. After Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance, the halftime show would never be the same again. And to understand why this moment mattered so much, we have to look not just at the performance itself, but at the journey that brought Kendrick Lamar to that stage. And what he chose to say when the whole world was finally listening. Long before the Super Bowl spotlight, Kendrick Lamar was never meant to be a safe choice. He didn't rise through pop radio. He didn't build his reputation on chart-friendly hooks or celebrity spectacle. His power came from something far more dangerous: truth. Growing up in Compton, Kendrick witnessed realities most Super Bowl audiences had never experienced firsthand. Violence, poverty, systemic pressure, survival. Those experiences shaped not only his sound, but his purpose. From the beginning, Kendrick used music as testimony, not escape. As his career grew, so did the complexity of his message. While other artists chased crossover appeal, Kendrick doubled down on storytelling. His albums weren't collections of songs, they were narratives. Confessions, critiques, cultural essays disguised as hip-hop. And that made him powerful. But it also made him controversial. By the time his work reached mainstream dominance, Kendrick had become something rare in modern pop culture, an artist who could command massive audiences without diluting his voice. He won awards. He topped charts. He earned critical acclaim. Yet he refused to simplify his message for comfort. That refusal was exactly what made his presence on the Super Bowl stage so risky. The Super Bowl is designed for consensus. It aims to unite millions across political, cultural, and generational lines. Historically, it avoids friction. It celebrates familiarity. Kendrick Lamar does the opposite. His music asks difficult questions. It highlights uncomfortable contradictions. It refuses to let audiences remain passive. So when it was announced that Kendrick would perform at the Super Bowl, reactions were split immediately. Some celebrated the moment as overdue recognition of hip-hop's cultural importance. Others worried he would bring too much reality to a space designed for distraction. And that concern wasn't unfounded. Because Kendrick understood exactly where he was standing. This wasn't a club. This wasn't a concert arena. This was American television at its most visible moment, broadcast into living rooms around the world. And Kendrick knew that if he chose to speak honestly here, there would be no hiding from the reaction. The question wasn't whether he would play it safe. The question was whether the Super Bowl was ready for Kendrick Lamar being fully Kendrick Lamar. When Kendrick Lamar finally stepped onto the Super Bowl stage, it became clear almost instantly, this performance was not designed to blend into the background. Nothing about it was accidental. The staging was stripped of excess spectacle. No fireworks for distraction. No flashy gimmicks to soften the impact. Instead, the focus was placed squarely on presence. Kendrick stood at the center of the stage with control and restraint, commanding attention through posture, movement, and timing. This wasn't chaos, it was precision. The performance unfolded like a statement, not a celebration. Every visual element carried intention. The formation of performers emphasized unity and structure, yet also restraint, bodies moving together, confined within boundaries. This wasn't freedom on display, it was discipline. Order. Control. A visual reminder that power, in America, has rules, and those rules are not the same for everyone. Kendrick's delivery was calm, measured, and deliberate. There was no shouting for attention. No need to exaggerate emotion. That restraint made the message louder. Lyrics about survival, resistance, and identity weren't softened for mass appeal. They were presented plainly, forcing the audience to confront them without escape. For viewers expecting a feel-good halftime distraction, this felt jarring, even uncomfortable. And again, that discomfort was intentional. The Super Bowl audience is accustomed to being entertained without being challenged. Kendrick reversed that relationship. He asked the audience to listen rather than consume. To observe rather than escape. Even silence played a role. Moments without excessive sound or movement created space for reflection, tension, and thought. In a format built on constant stimulation, stillness becomes a statement. Critics later debated whether the performance was too political. But the power of Kendrick's approach was that he never needed slogans or speeches. The message lived in symbols, in contrast, in what was shown and what was deliberately withheld. This wasn't an accident of interpretation. Kendrick understood exactly how the Super Bowl functions as a cultural amplifier. He knew that any subtle message would be magnified across millions of screens. And rather than delivering something easily digestible, he chose clarity over comfort. By the end of the performance, one thing was unmistakable. This halftime show wasn't created to be universally liked. It was created to be remembered. And in choosing meaning over mass appeal, Kendrick Lamar transformed one of the most commercial stages in America into a space for cultural confrontation, however brief it may have been. The reaction that followed proved just how powerful that choice was. The reaction to Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance was immediate and intense. Social media ignited within minutes. Clips circulated faster than commentary could keep up. Some viewers praised the performance as bold, necessary, and overdue. Others criticized it as divisive, inappropriate, or too serious for the occasion. And that divide revealed the true impact of the moment. The Super Bowl has always been framed as neutral territory, a cultural pause where conflict gives way to celebration. Kendrick disrupted that illusion. He exposed the idea that neutrality itself can be a position of power. By bringing a message rooted in lived experience to the most polished stage in American entertainment, Kendrick forced audiences to confront an uncomfortable truth: not everyone experiences this country from the same starting line. Media outlets rushed to label the performance. Was it political? Was it activism? Was it art? But Kendrick never offered an explanation, and that silence was deliberate. He allowed the work to speak for itself. This approach echoed a larger pattern in his career. Kendrick has never chased approval through clarification. He understands that meaning loses power when it is overexplained. His art operates through implication, contradiction, and reflection. And in doing so, it demands participation from the viewer. The Super Bowl performance wasn't a lecture. It wasn't a protest. It was an invitation to observe, to question, to reflect. What made this moment historic wasn't controversy alone. It was precedent. Kendrick demonstrated that the biggest stage in entertainment could hold more than spectacle. That it could briefly become a space for cultural honesty. That hip-hop, often marginalized, often misunderstood, could exist at the center of American identity without compromise. Long after the debates faded and the headlines moved on, the image of Kendrick Lamar standing composed at the heart of that stadium endured. Because moments like this don't change culture overnight. They reframe it. And years from now, when people look back at performances that altered the meaning of the Super Bowl halftime show, this one won't be remembered for fireworks or costume changes. It will be remembered as the moment when the halftime show stopped being just a show and became a statement.